So hello fellow IT engineers and welcome to this tutorial on how to install the Unifi Network Controller. So the Unifi Network Controller is the brains of any Unifi solution. It is where you basically adopt and register all of your devices to unleash their full potential. Any network device coming from Unifi, it can work with any network basically, but in order for you to unleash its full potential, you need to have the Unifi Network Controller. So let's get started. So let's just open a browser here, then just type ui.com. So this is the website of Ubiquiti. And on their website, you can actually check out their new offering for their version 2 equipments, whether it's switching or Wi-Fi. They have a new UI interface. But we're not here for this bit. You can actually explore this one. It's a very nice website for you to be able to learn what Ubiquiti is, what Unifi is, and what are their offerings in terms of networking and wireless solutions. But we're here to download the Unifi Network Controller. So what you want to do is you want to go here at the Networks Downloads section. Just click in here. And it will actually show you all of the firmwares and softwares for their equipments. But we're here for the Unifi Network Controller. So we'll need to click on Unifi here. And then you can actually see it here under software. So you can see there's a Unifi Network Controller for Mac OS. There's a network controller version for Ubuntu or Linux, or if you're using Debian. And you also have a Windows-based installer. So what we're going to be installing right now is the Windows-based installer because I have a Windows-based operating system. So let's just download this one. So just click on download and just click on accept. You don't have to register or anything for you to be able to download this file. This Unifi Network Controller is a free software that Unifi gives away to all of those who wants to use their Unifi equipment. So this is free, okay? So just click on download and it's about 142 MB software installer. So let's just wait for it to download completely and we'll install it in our PC. So once that's completed, just double click on our installer and let's wait for it to initialize. So it's here. Okay, so let's start the installation. And let's just wait for it to finish. So you can click on show more details for you to be able to see the files that are being installed in your PC. So let's just wait for this one to be installed. It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. As you can see, there's about 1 minute and it's already 75% complete around that time. So let's just wait for it to be to finish itself. So okay, about 90% already. And once that is completed, we can now start the Unifi controller after installation. So just click on finish. You can actually close this website already or this browser. And let's wait for the Unifi network controller to start. So as you can see, it's here. So the Unifi network controller is now initializing and it's now starting the application. So let's just wait for it to finish starting up. And once that's finished, this button should light up already. So let's just give it a couple more seconds. And now, as you can see, the Unifi controller version 5.13.29 has been started. So let's launch a browser to manage the network. So let's just click on that one. then it should open a browser for you to be able to manage the Unifi Network Controller. Okay. So right now there seems to be some issues with my browser with the Zoom, but as you can see, it's being rerouted to your local host under port 8443. That's for you to access the Unifi Network Controller. So just click on Advanced here. Okay, if you're using Chrome, and if you're using other browsers, it's the same settings. The reason it's saying that the connection is not private is that the website is not secure. It's not being secured with a certificate. So that's okay. Anyways, this PC is gonna be used as a local host only. Okay, so it's not going to be accessed on the internet. So just click on proceed to localhost here, and it should start with the wizard, okay, for you to be able to configure your controller. So right off the moment, we are step 1 out of 6. So we need to name our controller. So let's just go with the default, Unifi Network. And you just need to click on the end user license agreement. And you also have an option to restore the setup from a backup. So if you have a previous installation of a Unifi Network Controller, you can use that to back up all of your settings, okay, if you want to start from scratch. So let's just click on next here and sign in with the Ubiquiti account. I do have a Ubiquiti account. You can actually register, okay, at Ubiquiti. So for you to be able to register, just click on, just go to ui.com, then just go to community, and you can actually register here for your very own Ubiquiti account. I already have one, so I won't be registering another one for my Ubiquiti account. So let me just enter my credentials here, then just click on next. So you have an option to automatically optimize your Ubiquiti network and enable auto backup. So what does automatically optimize my network? Basically, what Unifi will do is that he will try to detect all of your devices, okay, and try to optimize it based on default settings. For me, I'm not really into using the default settings of Ubiquiti, so I'll just untoggle this one. But if you prefer a very simple interface where you don't have to do anything much, you can just toggle this back on. Okay, so I always enable auto backup just in case something happens. I have a backup that I can go back to whenever I want to reinitialize my Unifi Network Controller. So let me just click on next again. As of the moment, we don't have any devices. Maybe in another video, I'll be teaching you how to register Unifi devices into the Unifi Network Controller. So let's just click on next here. Wi-Fi setup. Basically, you can just name a Wi-Fi signal that you're going to be using on your network. So for this case, let's just use Unifi Wireless. Okay, then you can actually set a password. Okay, so there's an option here to combine 2 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi network names into one. So what does this mean? If you don't toggle this on, you will basically have two Wi-Fi signals named Unifi Wireless. One is for the 2 gigahertz and one is for the 5 gigahertz signal band. So what I usually do for the ease of my Wi-Fi users, I toggle this on so that they will only see one name for this one. And it's up to the device that they're using, whether it's a laptop or a cell phone, if they're going to be connecting to the 2 gigahertz band or the 5 gigahertz. So let's click on next here. And we already have our configuration. So you can actually set your configure territory here and the time zone. So let's just leave that one by default and click on finish. And that would pre-configure your Unifi Network Controller. So it's already 62% in. So let's just wait for this one for a couple of seconds. And now we have the Unifi Network Controller installed. So you have an option to send diagnostics and user data to Ubiquiti. This is your option. If you don't like your statistics to be sent to Ubiquiti, you can just click on don't send. But you can actually help Ubiquiti uh, gather and collect data from your devices to further improve their product. So I'll just go with send to Ubiquiti for this one. So as you can see, there's a pop-up here, controller software update is now available. So what does this mean? Our Unifi controller is version 5.13.29, and there's another version that is already up, which is 5.13.32. We can actually download that one and install it so that it will update the network controller. But we'll not do that one for the meantime. As of the moment, as you can see, this is the overhead view of your Unifi network. So let me just give you a brief tour about this one. This is your overhead dashboard where you can actually see your internet capacity, your ISP load, your gateway utilization, basically your router utilization, how many switches you have, how many access points, how many clients you have on the Wi-Fi network, and how many guests that are using your hotspot. You can also actually switch this one to a light theme or a dark theme. Okay, whichever do you prefer, but we'll just go with the white background. And you can also see the Wi-Fi traffic distribution. Basically, this shows you how many devices and users are using the 2.4 gigahertz range and the 5 gigahertz range. And at the bottom, you can actually see some statistics about your Wi-Fi. So you can also go here for further statistics. As of the moment, it's blank because we haven't added any equipment on our Unifi Network Controller. You can also provision topologies and maps. So the topology here basically shows you the overall topology of your network, who is connected, where your devices are connected to, and where your devices are located. You can also do that one on the floor plan. You can upload the floor plan of your building, and you can actually put the location of your access points and devices on the floor plan, and that will actually show you, okay, for future reference where the devices are located and how the signal of your Wi-Fi is being spread out from the access point. On the devices, you can actually see here the devices that you have on your network, the clients. You can also get some insights on client history, what are the neighboring access points in your network that are not connected to Ubiquiti, past connections, switch statistics, port forwarding status, and controller logs. And at the bottom, you will actually see some events, okay, and alerts. So this will actually alert you and show you events, what happened into your with your equipment, did they reboot, did they have any errors, warnings, and general information. And you also have a help center here, which will redirect you to the Ubiquiti help database, where you can actually browse their frequently asked questions and access the Ubiquiti community, where there's a healthy discussion for issues and questions that you might have, so that other Ubiquiti users can also answer. Okay. Um, and you also have the settings here. The settings is one of the most important windows that you can access, because this is how you will be configuring your Unifi Network Controller. So from here, you can actually add additional sites, okay, and edit your sites. Some settings here. You can name your site. You can adjust the LED lightings of your equipment, the services that you want to add, how fast is your internet connection, and this is the auto-optimize your network. Okay, toggle. From here at the wireless networks, you can provision your wireless settings. So as of the moment, we already have one wireless signal, okay, for coming from our Unifi Network Controller. And you can actually change the password here, okay? So as of the moment, I just used the random password one. I don't recommend you use this kind of password. You need to use something that is a strong password so that your Wi-Fi isn't that easily reached. Then from here, you can actually provision your network and its IP addressing. You can click on edit and you can change your settings here for the network. I'll be teaching this one step by step on a future video, but as of the moment, we'll just go with the overview of the Unifi Network Controller. Then you can access the routing and firewall. So this is going to be enabled if you have the Unifi Security Gateway and the Unifi Security Gateway Pro equipment. Then threat management. You can actually see where threats are coming from that is accessing your internet connection. DPI is called Deep Packet Inspection. Basically, this shows you what your users are accessing on the network. Are they browsing on Facebook? How much data have they accessed on Facebook? How much YouTube they are doing? Okay, who is currently doing YouTube? So you can do very deep packet inspection for your Unifi network. You can also provision guest control. So if you want to configure your Wi-Fi network to have a hotspot feature, this is where you configure this one. I'll be showing this one on another video. You can also set Wi-Fi user profiles. You can also add additional services like radius, hotspot 2.0, DHCP, dynamic DMS, SIP, Simple Network Management Protocol or SNMP, UPnP, Network Time Protocol, and scheduled updates. Admins, you can add additional administrators for your network. You can actually enable them to have a read-only or administrator access. Then you also have user groups. Okay, this is where you can actually limit their bandwidth, download and upload. Okay. Then under the controller, it will show you your controller settings and version. Okay, you can actually configure your controller settings here, the name, your controller host name or IP address, floor plan settings, and mail server, so that if you want Ubiquiti to send error logs to your configured email address, you can also do it here. Then the user interface is basically, this is how you edit this user interface. If you want to have the dark settings or the white settings, the time on your browser, okay. You can also set here the notifications, okay, for your various events in the network. You can also access this Unifi Network Controller outside your premises or your network. So for example, you want to enable the remote access where you just need to go to your Ubiquiti account under the Unifi website, and you can actually remotely access this Unifi Network Controller, okay, anywhere in the world. Okay, so that's one of the features that I really like about the Unifi Network Controller. Okay. Then there's an elite device settings here. So if you're in the US, basically they have a program there where your devices can be insured and have warranty for replacements. Okay. So you can also do some maintenance here. You can compact the database, check firmware updates for your devices, show system configs for you to be able to send to Ubiquiti if you have any problems. Okay, and this is where you do your backups of your Unifi Network Controller. So that's it. If you really want to play with the Unifi Network Controller, there's a program that Unifi offers for their prospective users. There's a demo that you can actually access without installing the actual Unifi Network Controller. So it's going to be under ui.com/software. This is where you can see all of the software platforms that Unifi has to offer. And we're interested with the network management controller. There's a demo here that you can try online. So you don't have to install the Unifi Network Controller. You can play around with the Unifi Network. As you can see here, they already have an entry for my recently installed Unifi Network, but we're interested in this demo. So just launch this one, and that would redirect you to your user account under the Unifi Network Controller. So this demo account is running a virtual platform where you can play with the various offerings of the Unifi Network Controller. So the features that I've shown you a while ago, it's already pre-populated here. You can play with the map, statistics, in terms of performance, okay? And the devices that they have on the network. You can actually click on one of the gateway itself, the Unifi Security Gateway Pro, and you can actually tinker with it using the UI interface. Okay. So that's it, fellow IT engineers, for this tutorial on how to install the Unifi Network Controller. So make sure you subscribe to Beltran.com. So that's it, fellow IT engineers, for this lesson, and I'll see you in the next video.